Okay.
That's all I gotta do is.
No, oh yeah, I'm going to start now.
Oh, you're gonna start now?
Because this is my backup. Okay. This doesn't work, but I figured a couple minutes till I'm just going to get started.
All right,
That
sounds
way it's running, so. All right. Everything's running.
And they just on a 25.
Henry, you know who?
I don't like not being able to see, you know, you like the Brady. Right, well, we gotta let the public, it might take a little while. I'd like to call this Freeburg Community High School Board of Education meeting to order. Can we call roll, please?
Mr. Parrish?
Here.
Mrs. Staub? Here. Mr. Reynolds?
I don't think you're here.
He's here.
Mr. Reynolds? I know.
Mr. Henning? Mr. Haas?
Yeah, here.
Mrs. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Gout?
Here.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Here. Okay, we have a quorum. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any agenda changes this evening? We do not. At this time, we'll open up the floor to public comments. If you have a comment, please say your name and your address. We'll limit it to 2 minutes, and when you get close to 15 seconds left or so, I'll raise my hand just so you know. Do we have any public comments this evening? Step right up.
My name is Donna Kiskin, 1935 East State Route, Belleville, Illinois. I've got a sophomore this year, and I'll pretty much just echo what I spoke to the grade school board last night. I just want to remind you guys that it's not mandated yet, and it's just a strong recommendation, and so I just pray that you guys vote with how the parents are voting. Right now, anybody who is compromised and really feels strongly against being at school has already voted by taking their kid to full remote. So with that being said, I think everybody left wants the hybrid schedule. And so I just pray that it really weighs on your heart and that you really think through that, you know, we elected you to speak for us as the public, and that we really want the hybrid schedule. Our kids want it, our kids need it for their social aspect, for their mental aspect. I just feel like it's really, really important. And so I just hope that you guys really consider it and think hard, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, good evening. Tanya Fernandez, 206 East Apple Street. I have a daughter who is going to be a junior this year, and I want to really strongly suggest for the social well-being and mental well-being for the children that they are to attend in the hybrid state, at least to start off with. The mental status of kids that are not getting that social interaction are, causing a lot more depression It is highly recommended that they have this during their crucial times of, their development stages right now. And I do see that a lot of kids want to push to come back. And like Donna mentioned before, if a parent has chosen to do full remote, then that has been their choice already. And there's a great bunch of us that are choosing to stay hybrid because we want that for our children. Not only to mention those kids who will be missed and maybe struggle in school and already just kind of get possibly missed in the hustle and bustle of everyday school anyway and struggle already. So there are students that have IEPs. My daughter struggled tremendously with remote learning last year, and I had to hire a tutor. I can't afford to do that all the time. If I have to, I may as well be paying for private school because it's not cheap. And I'm just really concerned about those kids that have messed up home lives. Maybe this is where they get their meals daily, and they need somebody, a positive role model in their life. And maybe this coming to school is the only time that they get that stability in their life. So I would like for you to strongly consider those things as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Let's move on. The next item, our only item this evening, is to consider changes to the remote learning plan. Do you want to speak on that?
Sure. I know this is it's not an easy decision by any means for anyone. I know the administration has looked long and hard at what we need to do. We feel like we have done a very good job of developing our initial hybrid plan. We feel confident in our hybrid plan. Felt like we had everything kind of set up. We put a nice blue wall in the cafeteria to separate, keep under the numbers we need to keep under, and other things that we've done. So we feel like we're really in a good position to go with the hybrid plan. And then we got the recommendation from the health department that threw everything in a loop. Unfortunately, it seems like lately the things we get from the state drop in our laps at the last minute. So we have rushed and put together, again, what we think is a very good remote plan, if that's what we end up going to. So we feel like we are in good position if the board votes to go to the AB hybrid schedule, or if the board votes to go to the remote learning option. The other thing I wanted to kind of mention is through all this whole COVID, we've had, just umpteen things that we have had to cancel. We've had prom we had to cancel, we had to cancel graduation. Obviously, learning was canceled. That was done by the state, but there were things that we made the decision to cancel because we were following the guidelines that were set down by the state. Other districts made decisions to hold full graduations. I know there were schools that went off-site and held a prom, and we made the decision not to do that because we felt like we needed to follow the guidance that was provided to us by our state and local agencies. Because of that, and I understand, put my glasses back on, that the health department, the only wording they're going to give us is strongly consider. They have said they will not mandate this. They said they don't have the power to mandate it. But because this is a department that we're going to rely on, and we've had to rely on, when we've had any kind of contract tracing that we've had to do, we've had a couple positive cases this summer. One email was sent out, or at least one positive case, another one that was suspected. This is an agency that we rely on. So because of that, I feel that I still need to stick with the recommendation that the school goes to a all remote learning plan because this is the recommendation of the health department. They have suggested that if the numbers turn in a positive favor, they can then come back and make another recommendation that the school then would return to a hybrid plan. When that is, we have no idea. It all depends on the cases. But they've also said that they won't open up and allow full in-person until we go to phase 5. And so then you're looking at either a vaccination or vaccine, or the numbers drop so low that, you know, it works out. So I just feel like that my recommendation has to stick with the same philosophy that we've had throughout this entire thing, and that we have to rely on our state agencies to guide us. So my recommendation to the board is that we go to a full remote learning platform. And if you have any questions, if you have it, try to answer them. Otherwise,
All right, well, I'd like to get the feel of the board. I think I've got a good idea of the board, but Dean, what are your thoughts?
My thought is that I have to agree with the two ladies that came up with the school. I think that the kids would benefit greatly by having school here in the building as much as possible. And yeah, the numbers are kind of high, but I think I read somewhere that in the county they're not as high as some of the surrounding ones. So basically, yeah, I'd rather see the hybrid.
I can tell you the numbers for zip code 6243. The last 8 days, the St. Clair County Emergency Management Agency posts these each day. Mark Kern gets on there and tells you, and the highest number in 6243 has been 34. And teens in all of St. Clair County, the highest number of teens to be positive was 8 in the last 8 days for an individual day. A lot more in the 20s through 90. And then the percentages, the positive percentages, Pritzker, our governor, says 8% is the panic number. But for individual days, 2 days out of the last 8 have been over 8%. And you can look at those numbers. These numbers can be used however you want to use them. There was only 666 tests yesterday. You know, if we had 2,000 tests, the numbers could have been different. Yesterday was actually 8.6%. But the day before was 4.8, and the day before that was 6.8 as far as positive. So I think the numbers don't back up, you know, full virtual learning, but those are what the numbers are. I want to get those to you, Dean, just so you heard. Let's just start with people here. Dennis, what are your thoughts?
Well, first I'll applaud the administrative work that has been done. They have come up with a plan only to be told, change your plan. They change their plan only to be told, change it again. And they've done their best to come up with a good plan for the benefit of the students. I think that A-B schedule that they've come up with is the best plan for the students right now. I'm not crazy about it. I think ultimately it comes to the fact either we want to educate our kids or we do not. And I do not think that we're providing the service if we go full remote. There's kids that can do it. They could take correspondence courses and fly through the subjects. The vast majority need that teacher interaction, direct teacher interaction, motivation, a stable environment. I'm only in favor of the AV. If that can't be, then I'm in favor of postponing opening the school until we go to that, or full, and we go in summer as long as the school year takes.
Stop.
I'm the same way. I have 3 daughters, and remote learning was tough on them. And they're good students, but they need the social, emotional interaction, and they need the good, outstanding teachers that we have here. So I'm all in favor for AV.
Mike, can you hear us? How about you?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. All right. Mike, what are your thoughts?
So Well, I'm kind of where Greg's at. I think we should follow the advice of the experts, the county, the state. That's how I feel about it. I think if we open, I don't think we'll be open very long.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Okay. Angie, what are your thoughts? Angie with us?
Well, I can tell you, I came into this still having no idea what I wanted because of the fact that there's so many different opinions and different things going on. I was hoping to hear from more parents and maybe some teachers on what their opinions were. I appreciate the two that did come up, but my feeling, what I want as a parent is different than what I think would be best for the school. I want my kid in school. I know she does better in person, but I have great concerns with going against the health agency. I mean, I definitely don't have a doctorate, anything less in medicine, and I'm not a lawyer, but if we're supposed to do no harm, and if we are going against what our health agency says, I think we are opening ourselves up to lawsuits. Then again, I also know that we have the option to go remote if you're concerned about your students. I have concerns about our teachers, and they don't necessarily have that option. So I was hoping to hear more arguments just so I could get a better idea. I'm still kind of up in the air. I really don't know.
Okay.
I tend to want to go with Greg and Mike because that's what the state goes with.
Last, Evan, I think it's really important that we hear from you as a student. What your thoughts are.
Well, first, I would recognize that whatever you guys decide as a board is what you believe is in the best interest for the students at FCHS. But in my personal opinion, I obviously would prefer to go back to school. Obviously, remote learning is tough just from the education standpoint because obviously for me, being in person is just so much more beneficial to me as a student. Like the personal interaction, like even not necessarily through the education, but just having a relationship with your teacher and your fellow students, that brings in like the social part of it. I know me and a whole bunch of my fellow students, like our mental health has definitely taken a dip since being full remote, or since the last time we went fully remote. And I know, I recognize that it's a difficult decision either way. I know most of the people I have talked to, they want to go back hybrid. I think that it's a great plan that the administration has put into place, and I think it could work, but obviously recognize there's some problems that get so come about with it. But in my opinion, I would definitely prefer to go back hybrid.
Let me ask you this. If the wording might be wrong, but if the kids suffered enough that we're not going to have a problem with them wearing the mask, that we're not going to have a problem with them keeping the social distancing, knowing, like, if you're not doing what you're supposed to, if the teacher says, hey, you can't be holding hands, you can't be doing whatever, that they're going to respect that because this is a serious thing, and you guys are young adults. Have you gotten any feel from, maybe the runners across country that you talked to, or anybody else?
Obviously, I can't speak for everyone.
Right.
But I know people are willing to wear the mask if they needed to. I know it's not something people enjoy doing, but I'm fully prepared to wear the mask every day until graduation. I know a lot of people feel the same way. I would hope that people could keep the mask on during school, but obviously there are some people that might not. It would be my hope that people would just take into consideration, like, respecting other people by wearing the mask.
Just wanted to get your opinion on that. Okay, I think we kind of got a feel for everybody. Do we have any kind of motion at this point, or do we want to discuss it?
I'd ask the question that the previous schedule was already passed by the board, unless we wanted to change that. Is there a next meeting necessary?
No. So no motion or a tie would essentially just retain the 8 weeks.
think that we've got consensus that we want to stay with the AP schedule. But does anybody want to make a motion to do virtual or anything other than that?
I'll make the motion to go virtual.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have to vote then. Kendra, can you do a roll call vote? The motion is for virtual.
Mr. Parrish?
No.
Mrs. Staub?
No.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Haas?
No.
Mrs. Miller? Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Gow?
No.
Yes.
So it's 5-3.
The motion does not pass. Okay, so that motion does not pass.
So one thing I do want to ask the board, and I know it's part of the AP plan, so it would essentially be a change. I don't really think we need to vote on it, but you guys can decide. Because of the decision that we made tonight, I do think we should give families an opportunity to choose if they want to go full remote after hearing the board's decision. So the deadline is coming past, so I would like to extend that. So if they would like to change their mind, go full remote, they have that option. So we'll put that in, I'll put that in as far as, unless anybody feels like we need to make a motion. I don't think we do, but
I don't think we do. We're okay with you doing that, yes.
okay. We don't need to, yeah, we're fine.
Thank you.
Okay, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second. Member?
Mr. Parrish?
Aye.
Mrs. Staub?
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds?
Aye.
Mr. Haas?
Aye.
Mrs. Miller? Mrs.
Aye.
Mr.
Aye.
Mr. Gow?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you all for coming this evening.